So I wanted to confirm some of the Tiger motor F40 data from last time I flew. So I added motor amperage and throttle position to the on-screen display. Specifically, I was estimating 50% power on takeoff, but I don't know the amperage. 35% cruising with 40 to 45 miles per hour and 3 amps measured on the bench. 50% cruising at 60 miles per hour or a little better with 8 amps measured on the bench. So this is what the on-screen display looks like. Number of satellites in the upper left-hand corner, and then below that, miles per hour. On the bottom left is the battery voltage. Then in the center on the bottom is the motor amperage. And on the right on the bottom is the throttle percent. And then in the upper left-hand corner is the altitude above sea level, bearing in mind that the field height is about 800 feet. Here are screenshots of 3 different takeoffs. The throttle position is actually 62 to 65%, not 50%. And the motor amperage is consistently 18 amps or a little bit higher. Notice that the battery voltage quickly drops from 16 volts plus down to between 15 and 16 volts as soon as there's a load applied to the battery. At 35 to 38% throttle, the Dolphin flies in the 42 to 45 mile per hour range and only pulling 3 to 4 amps. This is a very comfortable level for the Dolphin to fly at with good control. To estimate the flight time, I'm using an 1800 milliamp battery or 1.8 amp hours. You don't actually get 1.8 amp hours out of the battery because we only use 80 to 85% before the cell voltages get down to 3.5, which is the alarm level. So using 1.5 amp hours times 60 gives us 90 amp minutes, and then 90 amp minutes divided by 3.5 amps gives us almost 26 minutes flight time. So that would be the estimated flight time for 3.5 amps motor draw. At 49% throttle, the flight speed is in the low 60s, and the motor amp draw is between 8 and 9 amps. This would give a flight time of just over 10 minutes if you maintain the 8 to 9 amp range. So at 63% throttle, which I thought the throttle was set at 75%. It wasn't as high as I thought, but at 63% throttle, the Dolphin flies about 73 miles an hour on the average with an amp draw of 13 to 14 amps. And this would give a flight time of about 6.5 minutes if you maintained that level. I unfortunately did not get the chance to crank up the throttle to 100% on this particular day. But in summary, the Tiger F40 motor really performed quite adequately for this model, even though it's a smaller motor than the AtomRC motor, and the prop is quite a bit smaller too. It's only a 5.4 two-blade blunt type prop, so it's quite a bit smaller, but it actually performed really well.